Sean Diddy Combs was on the scene of one of the most high-profile rapper assassinations in history. If you're thinking someone should really make a documentary about his life, he's already beat you to it.
It made me appreciate life, and it made me want to do things for the greater good.
It all goes back to one point. I have a dream. A lot of times people see your dreams, they're crazy.
What's the odds that you would do that in front of the camera? That's one of the moments where he forgot he was on tape.
The moment the headlines started circulating, fans froze. Not because a diss track dropped, not because a leaked audio surfaced, but because reports began claiming something far bigger was unfolding behind the scenes. Whispers started spreading that this time, 50 Cent didn't pick up a mic. He picked up something far more dangerous. According to growing chatter online, a Netflix documentary was being framed as the ultimate expose, and somehow, 50 Cent's name was being tied directly to it. Social media lit up with shock, confusion, and disbelief. Fans kept asking the same question over and over again. Did he really go that far? For years, people have watched their tension play out in interviews, jokes, side comments, and cold silences. But now, blogs and entertainment pages are suggesting a whole new chapter, one where the gloves are off, the jokes are gone, and the narrative has shifted into something darker. Reports claim this isn't about music anymore. It's about legacy, power, and control. And if these reports are even partly true, then this could be the most calculated move 50 Cent has ever made. Fans are shocked because the story being pushed feels different. It's not loud, it's not flashy, it's quiet, strategic, and unsettling. People are saying that instead of throwing punches in public, 50 Cent allegedly let the cameras do the talking. According to commentary swirling online, this so-called documentary doesn't scream revenge, it whispers it, and that's what has everyone uneasy. Emotions ran high across fan pages as people dissected clips, quotes, and rumored scenes, trying to separate fact from speculation. Some supporters believe this is justice finally catching up. Others say it feels personal, almost surgical. Friends of both camps are reportedly divided, with some insiders allegedly questioning whether this crossed an invisible line. The family was left divided too, at least according to online narratives, as old wounds were dragged back into the spotlight. And the most unsettling part is that nobody seems to know how much of this is real and how much is carefully crafted storytelling. One thing is clear though, the conversation has shifted. And if these reports continue gaining traction,
my life over $6,700 a month.
He's been trained to believe what you seen him say in that interview.
This might not be remembered as a diss. It might be remembered as the moment everything changed. The first wave of reports did not come from official press releases or glossy trailers. They came from whispers. Entertainment blogs started hinting that something major was brewing behind closed doors, something tied to streaming cameras and long-buried stories. Fans noticed that 50 Cent had gone quiet in a way that felt intentional. No jokes, no memes, no public jabs. And that silence alone became the story. People online began speculating that this was not restraint, but preparation. According to circulating commentary, a Netflix project was quietly gaining momentum, and the rumor suggested it would not be flattering to Diddy's legacy. Sources familiar with industry chatter claim that this was not being framed as an attack, at least not openly. Instead, it was being positioned as a cultural reflection. The language used in early write-ups was careful. Words like examination, reckoning, and uncomfortable history appeared repeatedly. Fans are shocked because the tone felt colder than any diss track could ever be. It sounded like something designed to sit with viewers long after the screen went black. And at the center of these discussions, one name kept coming up, even when nobody said it outright: 50 Cent. According to reports making the rounds, people close to the situation were already feeling the pressure. Old associates were allegedly being contacted. Former collaborators were suddenly being asked to revisit moments they had long tried to forget. Emotions ran high as these stories resurfaced in private conversations. One insider was quoted online saying it felt like opening doors that had been locked for decades. Nobody knew who would come out clean on the other side. The tension was not just professional, it was deeply personal. Fans began revisiting past interviews, searching for clues they might have missed. Clips resurfaced where 50 Cent spoke about power, loyalty, and memory. In one old quote that suddenly went viral again, he talked about how history always catches up with people who think they are untouchable. At the time, most listeners brushed it off as bravado. Now, those same words were being reinterpreted as a warning. The comment sections filled with theories. Some believed this was long planned. Others thought recent events forced his hand. Friends of both figures were reportedly uneasy. According to gossip accounts, phone calls were being made late at night, with people asking where they stood if things escalated. The family was left divided too, at least in the narrative being pushed online. Some relatives were said to be urging silence, while others felt the truth needed to come out, no matter how ugly it looked. These conflicting emotions added another layer to the unfolding drama, making it feel less like entertainment and more like a slow-moving storm. What made the situation even more intense was the way fans reacted. Many admitted they did not know what to believe, but they could not look away. Timelines were flooded with posts saying this felt different from previous.
Back into his present.
If Sean Combs watches this, what do you think he's going to feel?
Like, wow, this is amazing.
Controversies. People pointed out that diss tracks fade, interviews get forgotten, but documentaries live forever. They sit on platforms, waiting for new viewers to discover them years later. That idea alone sent a chill through the fandom. If these reports were accurate, this would not be a moment. It would be a monument. As more commentary surfaced, the narrative grew bolder. Some writers suggested that this project was not about humiliation, but about control of the story. Who gets to tell history? Who gets to frame the rise and fall? That question hit a nerve with longtime fans who remembered how carefully certain images had been maintained over the years. Betrayal became a common word in these discussions. Betrayal of trust, betrayal of mentorship, betrayal of silence. Each accusation felt heavier than the last, even when framed as speculation. Behind the scenes, reactions were allegedly mixed. Some industry veterans were said to be applauding the move, calling it necessary. Others worried it would open wounds that never really healed. Emotions ran high during these debates, with people arguing over whether this crossed a line or finally acknowledged one. The uncertainty made everything fragile, like one wrong sentence could tip the balance. By the end of the first wave of reports, one thing was undeniable. The energy had shifted. The story was no longer about whether a diss would drop. It was about what happens when stories outgrow songs, when the camera becomes the weapon, and silence becomes the loudest statement of all. Fans waited, refreshed their feeds, and wondered how far this narrative would go, knowing that once it started, there was no easy way back. The first wave of conversation did not arrive with trailers or official announcements. It arrived as speculation, the kind that spreads quietly through entertainment blogs and comment sections before anyone realizes how loud it has become. People started noticing that certain stories were being framed differently. Instead of flashy headlines, there were careful phrases, cautious language, and repeated reminders that these were reports, not confirmations. Fans are shocked because the tone suggested something serious was being discussed, something bigger than the usual back-and-forth drama that the culture had grown used to. According to circulating news reports, a Netflix project was being talked about in private industry circles, one that allegedly revisited moments many believed were buried for good. The conversation did not claim anything outright. Instead, it leaned on words like alleged, rumored, and according to sources. That alone made the story feel heavier. When accusations are shouted, they can be dismissed. When they are whispered, people lean in. Emotions ran high online as fans tried to piece together what this could mean and why it was happening now. What made the situation feel different was the sudden silence from one side. People noticed that jokes stopped appearing. The trolling that fans had almost come to expect was gone. That absence became its own message. Commentators suggested that silence, in this case, was being interpreted as intention. According to the narrative forming online, this was not about winning an argument. It was about letting a story unfold on its own terms, and that idea unsettled many viewers who were used to loud confrontations. Friends and associates were reportedly reacting behind closed doors. Gossip pages claimed that some insiders felt blindsided, while others admitted they had seen this coming for years. Emotions ran high during these private reactions, with people allegedly arguing over loyalty and responsibility. Some believed that revisiting the past would only reopen wounds. Others felt those wounds never healed in the first place and were simply covered by success and time. The family was left divided in these accounts, with some urging restraint and others insisting that silence was no longer an option. Fans began pulling up old interviews, replaying moments that once seemed harmless. Lines that were laughed off years ago were suddenly being re-examined with a different lens. A comment about power here, a joke about control there, all stitched together into new theories. People started saying that history was being rewritten in real time, not by facts alone, but by perspective. The idea that perspective could change everything became a recurring theme in discussions. According to entertainment commentators, the rumored project was not being
described as an attack. It was being framed as a reflection. That word showed up again and again. Reflection suggests looking back, not striving forward. But reflections can be brutal, especially when they show things people no longer want to see. Fans are shocked because the reports implied that the camera would linger on uncomfortable moments rather than rushing past them. That kind of storytelling feels less like drama and more like judgment, even when nothing is directly stated. Reactions from fans were intense and emotional. Some expressed excitement, calling it overdue accountability. Others felt uneasy, saying it bordered on exploitation. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds where people argued over intent. Was this about truth, or was it about settling old scores? Emotions ran high as both sides accused each other of bias, proving just how deeply invested audiences had become in the narrative. What added fuel to the fire was the suggestion that people who had stayed quiet for years might now be speaking up. According to reports, individuals who once benefited from staying silent were reconsidering their positions. That possibility alone shifted the energy. Silence has always been a form of protection in the industry. Breaking it can feel like betrayal, even when framed as honesty. Fans debated whether these voices were courageous or opportunistic, further dividing opinion. Industry veterans were also pulled into the conversation. Some anonymous quotes began appearing online from people described as longtime insiders. They spoke about patterns, about how certain behaviors were normalized for decades. None of it was presented as fact. It was always framed as recollection, memory, interpretation. That careful wording kept the story just within the boundaries of commentary while still feeling explosive. The lack of direct accusations somehow made the implications feel stronger. As the narrative continued to grow, people started discussing legacy. What does it mean when stories resurface after someone has already secured their place in history? Can success erase questionable moments, or does it simply delay their return? These questions appeared repeatedly across social media. Fans are shocked not just by the content of the rumors, but by the timing. Many asked, why now? Why after so many years of silence and celebration? Emotions ran high when fans considered how these reports could affect families connected to the story. Children, partners, and relatives who never asked to be part of the spotlight were suddenly being mentioned in speculative threads. Some commenters expressed discomfort, saying there should be limits. Others argued that public lives come with public consequences. The family was left divided in these debates as well, at least symbolically, reflecting the broader split in audience reaction. What became clear as the discussion evolved was that this story was no longer about music. It was about narrative control. Who tells the story first? Who gets believed? And how platforms amplify certain voices over others. According to commentators, the rumored involvement of a major streaming service raised the stakes. Documentaries carry an air of authority, even when they are built on interpretation. That authority can shape public opinion in lasting ways. Fans waited for clarification that never came. Every day without confirmation added to the tension. Speculation fed on itself, growing more elaborate with each retelling. People began saying that even if nothing concrete emerged, the damage was already done. Once doubt is introduced, it cannot be fully erased. Emotions ran high as viewers realized that sometimes the story is not what is shown, but what people believe might be shown. By the time the conversation reached its peak, the atmosphere had changed completely. What started as quiet rumors had turned into a full-blown cultural debate. Fans were no longer asking if something was coming. They were asking how far it would go and who would be affected along the way. The drama did not need confirmation to feel real. It lived in reactions, arguments, and the uneasy feeling that some stories never truly stay buried, no matter how much time passes. As the chatter intensified, new layers were added to the narrative by people claiming to have been around during earlier chapters of the story. These were not bold declarations. They were careful recollections, framed as personal memories rather than accusations. According to these reports, certain moments that once looked like harmless industry politics were now being reinterpreted as warning signs. Fans are shocked because the same events they celebrated years ago were suddenly being discussed with a sense of unease. One former associate, quoted anonymously on a gossip page, described the feeling as watching a movie with the sound turned off and then hearing the dialogue years later. He claimed that back then, everyone laughed, nodded, and moved on.
Now, those same scenes felt heavy. Emotions ran high among readers as they imagined how many conversations had been sanitized for the sake of progress and profit. The idea that silence was a shared agreement, rather than ignorance, began to take hold. Social media reaction escalated quickly. Timelines filled with side-by-side clips, before and after moments, and long threads connecting dots that may or may not have been related. Fans argued over intention versus impact. Some said it was unfair to judge the past by present standards. Others responded that harm does not expire just because time passes. The family was left divided in these discussions too, as viewers projected their own experiences with forgiveness and accountability onto the story. According to commentary gaining traction, the rumored project was described as emotionally restrained but psychologically intense.
Instead of dramatic confrontations, it allegedly focused on patterns, repetition, the slow accumulation of power. That approach unsettled people more than explosive claims ever could. Fans are shocked because patterns force reflection. They ask viewers to sit with discomfort rather than react to spectacle. Emotions ran high as people realized that this kind of storytelling does not offer easy villains or heroes. Friends of the people involved were said to be nervous about how this narrative could evolve. Some insiders reportedly worried that even appearing in archival footage could be recontextualized in ways they could not control. That fear spilled into public conversations, where fans debated the ethics of reusing old material. Is it fair to assign new meaning to moments captured under different circumstances? The question lingered without a clear answer, adding to the tension. The reactions were not limited to supporters or critics. Neutral observers found themselves drawn in as well. Many admitted they had no personal stake, but felt compelled to watch the story unfold. Fans are shocked by how quickly speculation can reshape public perception. One day, a name represents success. The next, it becomes a symbol of unresolved questions. Emotions ran high as people realized that this kind of storytelling does not offer easy villains or heroes. Some reports suggested that private meetings were taking place, with advisors urging caution. The advice, according to these narratives, was simple: do not react, do not escalate, let the noise pass. But others allegedly argued that silence could be interpreted as guilt, even when nothing had been proven. This internal conflict mirrored the public debate, where every possible response seemed risky. The family was left divided in these imagined scenarios, reflecting the broader sense of uncertainty. Fans continued dissecting language used in commentary pieces. Words like allegedly and reportedly were scrutinized, not dismissed. People understood that these qualifiers existed for a reason, yet they also recognized how easily suggestion can feel like fact when repeated often enough. Emotions ran high as audiences confronted their own role in amplifying stories that were still unverified. Some felt uncomfortable with that realization. Others brushed it off, saying discussion was harmless. Another twist in the narrative came from claims that reactions within the industry were generational. Younger voices were said to be more open to revisiting the past, while older figures preferred to keep certain chapters closed. Fans are shocked by how age and experience shape perspective. What feels like accountability to one group feels like betrayal to another. This divide deepened the drama, turning the story into a reflection of broader cultural shifts rather than a single conflict. Commentators also highlighted the emotional toll on people indirectly connected to the story. Assistants, collaborators, and partners who never sought the spotlight were suddenly being mentioned in speculative threads. Emotions ran high as viewers questioned whether entertainment justified dragging these individuals into public debate. Some argued that collateral damage was unavoidable. Others insisted there should be boundaries, even in the pursuit of truth. As days passed, the story refused to fade. Instead, it evolved. New angles emerged, old assumptions were challenged, and the conversation became less about who was right and more about what this said about the culture itself. Fans are shocked by how a single rumor can trigger such widespread introspection. People began asking uncomfortable questions about their own complicity and celebrating figures without examining the systems that supported them. The tension peaked when a few high-profile commentators weighed in, carefully choosing their words. They did not endorse the rumors, nor did they dismiss them. Instead, they spoke about cycles, about how industries protect power until they no longer can. Emotions ran high as listeners interpreted these statements in different ways. Some heard warning, others heard validation. The ambiguity only fueled further debate. Throughout all of this, the absence of definitive answers kept the suspense alive. No confirmations arrived, no denials stuck. The story existed in a gray space, sustained by reaction rather than revelation. Fans waited, refreshed feeds, and argued in circles. The drama did not resolve. It stretched, lingered, and deepened, leaving audiences with the uneasy sense that they were watching something unfold in slow motion, unsure where it would land or who would be standing when it finally did. As the discussion carried on, the emotional temperature rose in unexpected ways. What began as analysis slowly turned into projection, with fans inserting themselves into the narrative. People started saying this felt familiar, like watching a family argument spill into public view, where everyone chooses a side without knowing the full truth. Fans are shocked because the story stopped feeling distant. It started touching personal nerves about power, silence, and who gets protected when success is involved. According to ongoing commentary, some fans claim to feel betrayed, not by any confirmed action, but by the idea that they may have been celebrating an image rather than a reality. That feeling spread fast. Emotions ran high as people admitted they did not know how to separate nostalgia from accountability.
Old songs, old interviews, old red carpet moments were suddenly being watched with hesitation. The joy they once brought now felt complicated, layered with questions that had no easy answers. Reports also suggested that conversations within inner circles were becoming tense. Friends were allegedly choosing their words carefully, aware that anything said could be interpreted as taking a side. Silence was no longer neutral. Speaking up was risky. Every reaction seemed to carry consequences. The family was left divided in these stories, with loyalty pulling in one direction and self-preservation pulling in another. That push and pull made the narrative feel raw and human, even when nothing was officially confirmed. Some commentators began focusing on timing. They asked why these reports were surfacing now, after so many years. Theories multiplied. Some believed cultural shifts made it safer to question powerful figures. Others suggested recent industry shakeups opened doors that were previously locked. Fans are shocked by how timing can change perception. The same story told 10 years ago might have been ignored. Told now, it becomes a reckoning, at least in the court of public opinion. Emotions ran high as debates turned philosophical. Is it possible to acknowledge impact without rewriting intent? Can admiration coexist with criticism? Viewers argued over whether growth should excuse past behavior, or whether accountability demands confrontation regardless of outcomes. These questions extended beyond the individuals involved, touching on how society treats fame itself. The story became a mirror, reflecting uncomfortable truths about audience complicity and selective memory. Another dramatic twist emerged when commentators speculated about the role of editing and framing. Documentaries, they argued, are not neutral. They are narratives shaped by choices about what to show and what to leave out. Fans are shocked by how much power that process holds. A pause, a cut, a lingering shot can suggest meaning without stating it. That realization made viewers uneasy. If perception could be guided so subtly, how much agency did audiences really have? Reactions from fans grew more polarized. Some demanded transparency, saying that even rumors deserved exploration. Others warned against trial by public opinion, reminding everyone that speculation can become cruelty when repeated enough times. Emotions ran high as these camps clashed, each accusing the other of either blindness or malice. The lack of definitive facts did not slow the argument, it fueled it. According to Entertainment Chatter, people close to the situation were feeling the weight of expectation. Some reportedly felt pressure to distance themselves publicly, even if privately they were unsure. Others resisted, saying they refused to abandon long-standing relationships over unproven narratives. The family was left divided in these accounts, symbolizing the broader fracture between personal loyalty and public perception. That divide felt impossible to bridge. Fans also began questioning the role of platforms. Streaming services, blogs, and social media were all part of the ecosystem amplifying the story. Some argued that platforms benefit from controversy regardless of truth. Others said exposure forces accountability. Emotions ran high as viewers debated whether attention itself was a form of endorsement. Every click, every share became part of the drama, blurring the line between observer and participant. As days turned into weeks, fatigue set in alongside fascination. Some fans
admitted they were tired of speculation, yet could not stop following updates. That contradiction became a theme. People criticized the circus while feeding it. Fans are shocked by how easily outrage becomes routine, how quickly extraordinary claims blend into everyday scrolling. The story did not explode, it simmered, creating a constant low-level tension. Commentators noted that this slow burn might be the most unsettling aspect. There was no climax, no clear villain moment. Instead, there was accumulation. Small details, repeated often enough, began to feel significant. Emotions ran high as viewers realized that narratives do not need proof to influence feeling. Suggestion alone can shift mood and memory. Some voices attempted to slow the conversation, urging caution and empathy. They reminded audiences that real people exist behind public personas, people who feel stress, fear, and confusion. These appeals were met with mixed reactions. Some welcomed the reminder, others dismissed it as deflection. The family was left divided even in these responses, showing how deeply entrenched positions had become. By this stage, the story had transformed into something larger than its origin. It was no longer about whether a documentary would confirm anything. It was about how stories gain power through repetition and belief. Fans are shocked by how quickly uncertainty can harden into assumption. Emotions ran high as people recognized the responsibility that comes with consuming and sharing narratives. The tension lingered without resolution. No statement arrived to close the chapter. Instead, the conversation settled into an uneasy wait. People kept watching, listening, and arguing, aware that whatever happened next would not just affect reputations, it would shape how future stories are told, believed, and remembered.
As the story reached this stage, something subtle but important shifted in the way people talked about it. The outreach softened into something heavier, more reflective. Fans were no longer just reacting, they were processing. Many admitted that even without clear confirmations, the emotional impact felt real. Fans are shocked by how deeply suggestion alone can cut, especially when it touches on figures they once admired without question. According to ongoing reports, some people close to the situation began pulling back from public spaces altogether, not because they had something to hide, at least not by their own accounts, but because the environment had become unpredictable. Every appearance, every old photo, every offhand quote risked being reinterpreted. Emotions ran high as people realized how little control anyone has once a narrative takes hold. Intention stopped mattering as much as perception. The conversation around legacy grew louder. Commentators asked whether legacy is something a person owns or something the public revises over time. Fans debated whether success should shield someone from scrutiny or invite more of it. The family was left divided in these discussions, symbolically and emotionally, as viewers projected their own family experiences onto the unfolding drama. Some spoke about protecting elders, others spoke about breaking cycles of silence. What unsettled many was the idea that nothing new needed to be revealed for damage to occur. The act of re-examining the past itself became destabilizing. Fans are shocked by how quickly certainty dissolves when stories are retold from different angles. Moments once framed as triumphs were now questioned. Alliances once praised were now scrutinized. Even silence became suspicious. Emotions ran high as fans argued over responsibility. Some insisted that powerful figures owe the public transparency simply because of their influence. Others pushed back, saying fame does not erase the right to privacy or fairness. These arguments played out endlessly, with no resolution, only exhaustion. The lack of closure became its own form of tension. Commentary also turned toward the audience itself. People began asking what role fans play in building and tearing down icons. Are viewers passive consumers or active participants in shaping reputations? Fans are shocked when they realize how much power they hold collectively. A shift in sentiment can rewrite history faster than any official statement. That realization made some uncomfortable. Others felt empowered. According to Entertainment Chatter, even those who dismissed the reports admitted the situation felt different from past controversies. It was quieter, more deliberate. There was no single explosive moment to argue against. Instead, there was accumulation. Story upon story, reaction upon reaction. Emotions ran high as people struggled with the uncertainty. Humans crave resolution, and this narrative offered none. The idea of control came up repeatedly. Control over image, control over memory, control over how stories are archived and presented. Fans debated whether documentaries reflect truth.
Manufacture it through selection. Both sides acknowledged the same reality. Once something is framed as a serious examination, it carries weight, whether or not every claim is proven. That weight can bend public opinion, slowly but permanently. Some fans expressed sympathy for everyone involved. They pointed out that living under constant scrutiny distorts reality for all sides. Others rejected sympathy, saying power comes with consequences. The family was left divided in these reactions too, mirroring the broader split in how people process discomfort. Empathy and accountability felt like opposing forces, even though they do not have to be. As time passed, the initial shock gave way to a dull, persistent unease. Fans are shocked not by new details, but by the absence of clarity. The waiting became part of the experience. People checked for updates, knowing there might be none. The story lived on through discussion rather than evidence. That alone proved how narratives survive. Emotions ran high when some viewers suggested that this was the true exposure, not of any individual, but of the system itself. A system that elevates people, protects them, and then slowly turns on them when conditions change. Whether fair or not, the pattern felt familiar. That familiarity made the story resonate beyond the names involved. Others warned about the danger of normalizing suspicion. They argued that constant doubt erodes trust not just in public figures, but in storytelling itself. If everything is always questioned, nothing holds meaning. Fans are shocked by how thin the line is between healthy skepticism and corrosive cynicism. The debate circled endlessly, with no clear victor. In the end, the story did not conclude. It settled. Like dust after a collapse, it lingered in the air, affecting everything it touched. No final statement arrived to clear the tension. No definitive proof emerged to close the case. Instead, there was an understanding that some narratives do not end cleanly. They remain open, reshaped by each new viewer who encounters them. What stayed with people most was the feeling that something had shifted permanently, not because of what was confirmed, but because of what was questioned. Fans are shocked when they realize that questioning alone can change how history feels. Emotions ran high as audiences accepted that once doubt enters the conversation, it never fully leaves.
And so the story continues, not as a headline or a revelation, but as a presence, a reminder of how power, perception, and storytelling collide. Whether the reports fade or grow louder, the impact is already woven into public consciousness, and that may be the most dramatic outcome of all. Now it's on you. After hearing all of this, the question isn't what happened, it's what you believe is happening. Reports are still circulating, commentary is still evolving, and nothing feels settled. That's why your voice matters here. You've seen how quickly rumors turn into narratives, and how narratives turn into opinions that shape culture. Do you think this is just another wave of exaggerated reporting, or does it feel like something deeper is being unpacked in real time? As you've heard, fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and the lines between truth, interpretation, and entertainment feel thinner than ever. Some people believe this kind of commentary is necessary to challenge powerful images. Others feel it crosses a line and turns speculation into damage. Where do you stand? Do you think revisiting the past like this is accountability, or do you think it risks rewriting history without full facts? This story isn't finished, and that's exactly why your reaction matters. If you think these reports are being blown out of proportion, say it. If you think there's more here that deserves attention, say that too. The family was left divided in the narrative. The fans are split, and the conversation keeps growing every day. Your comment could be the one that pushes this discussion in a new direction. If you want to stay updated as more commentary comes out, make sure you like this video and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. New angles, new reactions, and new twists are already being talked about, and you'll want to be here when they surface. Most importantly, drop your thoughts below. Do you think this is exposure, exaggeration, or something in between? Read the comments, jump into the debate, and let your voice be heard. Because in stories like this, the audience is part of the drama too.